All right, guys. So on to the project underway here, which is a disc brake swap on the rear of this thing. I kind of just decided that if I was going to start actually tracking this car, I've got the suspension for it, that it would be nice to throw some discs on. Some people are back and forth on whether or not discs really help out that much, because there's a pretty good braking performance in drums in actuality, if you're not in real wet conditions and things like that. But it's a hell of a lot easier to mess with disc brakes than it is to mess with drum brakes. And obviously, as you guys know by now, I turn my own wrenches. So if I can ease up my burden a little bit, I'm definitely going to do that. So this is where we're at right now. This is the passenger side. This is still the drum rear trailing arm setup on it. I'm kind of working on getting that figured out right now. Kind of over here messing with this. I did get the driver's side put together, at least to the point where I feel pretty confident with it being mocked up anyway. I need to go through and tighten some things and get the brake lines and things like that hooked up still. But this is the setup. It's off of a 2001 Acura Integra. Currently, it has the entire rear trailing arm in it. That wasn't my original intent, but that's how shit ended up going for me. So I got the entire rear trailing arm set up anyway. The wrecking yard here, they won't separate things like that. They like to sell it as a unit. But when I got it home, I thought I could save myself some problems, because as you guys already know, if you watch the other videos, energy suspension rear trailing arm bushing right here, I already had one of those set up in my original rear trailing arms that had the drums on them. I went through all the hassle doing that when I did all the other energy suspension bushings under the car. So I was hoping that I could change just the spindle out. Some guys know about this, some don't. It is actually possible. The rear trailing arm assembly is identical, I guess, through the majority of the Hondas. The difference is this spindle setup here, which can actually be taken off and be replaced with another unit popped on there. So I actually got the spindle setup off of the Integra rear trailing arm setup reasonably easy. On the back side, there's 4 T50 Torx bolts. You access them through here. You got your little heads down in there. So you got 4 T50 Torx bolts, and then there's one huge, I think it's a 24mm nut right here that you got to break loose. It's a nylock. You get that off, and that whole spindle assembly actually pushes right off of this rear trailing arm. So that's all you need to do, theoretically. So that's what I did. I was surprised, because I've heard people have had issues with it. I actually managed to get the spindles off of the Integra rear trailing arms reasonably easy. I didn't even need to use air tools, none of that shit. Just basic hand tools, managed to break them free. So I was hopeful that I could do that with the drums, with the drum spindle assembly that was on the car, so I wouldn't have to change out the whole rear trailing arm, and I wouldn't have to mess, most importantly, with those stupid bushings right there again, because they're kind of a pain in the ass. Unfortunately, the original setup had other plans, and I managed to twist the head off one of those Torx trying to get the drum assembly out of my factory trailing arm. So at that point, I ended up having to go through the hassle to go ahead and swap that bushing out up there on the original Integra rear trailing arms and put this spindle assembly back into it so that I could put the whole unit into the car. So we got the driver's side done enough to, see what it's going to be looking like here. Passenger side I'm working on right now. If you guys want to do that rear trailing arm bushing, it's a whole lot of fun. You keep the original shell in there with the energy suspension. You have to cut out that dog bone. Most of the time you don't have to cut it out because it's all busted to hell anyway, and you can pretty much just smash it through there with your foot or whatever. But then you got to carve that rubber out. And when you carve that rubber out, there's two little pieces of steel plate, you know, that got an arc to them that actually are sandwiched in the rubber as well. Those are a pain in the ass. So it's a lot of fun times with razor blades and things like that, or you can just cook the whole arm, I guess, in the fire or whatever. I didn't feel like torching it, so I just did the razor blade method and got that done. So just a little heads up, little tip for you guys: when you get to this position here, when you get to this stage where you still got that rubber junk in there, you know, you need to clean that up. You need to get bare metal on that shell so that you can grease it up and you can go ahead and start the process of pushing that energy suspension bushing in. What I notice works really well when you get to this point is just this guy right here. Just a drill, put a little wire wheel on it. I got that, like a 5-pack of these stupid wire wheels from Harbor Freight for, I don't know, $6 or something on sale. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It just, you know, little by little, you'll chew that stuff up. Try and shave down as much as you can with the razor blade, just to minimize some time that you'll be over here with the drill running it, just because the really thick stuff, it takes a while to wear away. But you know, eventually it'll cut through, cleans it up real nice, makes it nice and smooth. If you use a real aggressive wire wheel, you'll kind of get some little bit of marring and stuff in there. Just keep kind of polishing it. It'll start to polish out a little bit. Even if it is a little mar, doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt anything. Grease channel. There you go. So no big deal. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys a little heads up on that. Hopefully I'll have this rear trailing arm cleaned up and back together here shortly. One of the things I am doing, since I'm already in there and I'm putting this thing back on, is I'm trying to save myself some hassle for later on in life. I don't know if or when or why the hell I would need to pull the spindle back out, but if I ever did, it would be nice to be able to do that. And using some regular head bolts instead of those damn Torx T50s will hopefully make it a little bit more painless. So that's the plan with that. I'm also upgrading to a 40/40 proportioning valve. I got off of a DC Integra as well, and a 15/16 brake master cylinder. That I did not take off the Integra. Some guys will basically just go and gut the whole setup off of a DA Integra for these things. The downside, as far as what I've gathered from the reading I've done, is that the Integra master cylinder actually does not like to bolt up to the factory Honda brake booster. So you have to change the brake booster out along with that, or somebody said that they had mounted the brake booster upside down or something and they managed to attach the master cylinder on it correctly. I don't know. You want to make it simple for yourself, not screw around with too much of that. You can actually just get the master cylinder. I ordered mine for a 91 Honda Civic EX model, which is a 15/16, and I'm gonna run that. I think I paid $50 or something maybe off of Rock Auto. So I'm gonna run that, and it's supposed to bolt right onto the factory brake booster. No issues at all. You don't have to rebend brake lines, nothing weird. It should fit totally fine. So we're gonna do that. Drilled and slotted rotors in the front, which kind of gimmicky, I guess. Some people say don't do it. I did it because it was not a whole lot of extra money, and they came with ceramic pads, so I think it was 10 or 15 bucks more than if I went down to AutoZone and got some blanks and some of their cheese ball pads. So the rear, I'm just going to run blanks on with ceramic pads. They're on their way here because these rotors don't look too bad, really. The pads, I don't know. To me, they look a little thin, but what do I know? I haven't really messed with these guys much. I do actually need to pull this setup back off, just the hub, because I have extended wheel studs on my drum setup that I'm gonna have to rob and put on these, so that'll be fun. But yeah, hopefully I can have this thing all ready to rock. I got a set of DA Integra e-brake cables on their way also, which is a must on these guys when you do the disc brake conversion on them. So hopefully everything will be here in the next couple of days, and I can get this thing set up. So should be good. Some of you guys are subscribing here, so maybe actually somebody's following. I'm actually you know, getting a couple of guys that are maybe interested in what's going on here, so I'll keep throwing updates on as things keep going. Now that I got the stoppers on, or I'm getting there, the next thing for this car is going to be the engine, drivetrain. I'm split between a B16 and a B18. You know, the big decision that everybody seems to question on Google. If you guys got any input on that, let me know. I'm shooting for 300 wheel horse, with, you know, of course, with a little turbo on there to do it. But let me know what you guys think. B16, B18, is there really that big of a difference? Would I be better off with the B16, save a couple $100 versus the B18, and maybe throw it on a little bit nicer set of injectors, or just say the hell with it, go B18 and don't look back? I was thinking of doing a GSR and slapping a Charger on it. I don't know. I'm not really a Honda guy, as you guys have probably heard me say a couple times throughout my videos. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and hopefully in the next month or so we'll be getting some engine stuff going on here.